Do you ever feel sick after eating healthy foods? If a salad with spinach, tomato, and avocado leaves you with a migraine, bloating, or hives, you might not be crazy, you might have histamine intolerance. Welcome to Histamine Intolerance Help. Today we are creating the ultimate beginner's roadmap to the low histamine diet. If you are new here, I want you to imagine your body is like a water bucket. Everyone has a different size bucket for how much histamine they can handle. When that bucket overflows, you get symptoms. The goal of this diet is not to eliminate histamine forever. That's unrealistic. But the goal is to lower the level in your bucket so you can feel yourself again. In the next 6 minutes, we are going to cover the essential yes and no foods based on the SciGuy List Gold Standard, the critical rules for cooking that most beginners get wrong, and why your refrigerator might actually be your enemy. Before we talk about specific ingredients, we need to talk about the single most important rule of this diet: freshness. Histamine is a biogenic amine that accumulates as food ages. It is a byproduct of bacterial activity. This means that a piece of meat that was low histamine yesterday might be high histamine today. This is where beginners make their first major mistake. You might go to the butcher and ask for fresh meat, but fresh at a grocery store usually means it has been sitting in a display case for days or it has been aged to improve flavor. For a normal person, that's fine. For you, this could be a histamine bomb. You need to look for meat that was frozen immediately after slaughter. If you buy fresh meat, you must cook it that same day. Also, avoid ground or minced meat unless you grind it yourself right before cooking. Because ground meat has so much surface area exposed to air and bacteria, histamine levels begin to skyrocket quickly. Now, let's look at the foods you need to avoid. This can be shocking because many of these are superfoods. We are generally following the SciGuy list, the Swiss interest group Histamine Intolerance Compatibility List, which is widely considered the most accurate resource we have. First, eliminate all fermented and aged foods. Fermentation is literally the process of bacteria breaking down food, which creates massive amounts of histamine. This means no yogurt, no sauerkraut, no soy sauce, no wine, no beer, and absolutely no aged cheese. If it's aged, cured, or smoked, it's out. Next are the plant-based triggers. These are often high in histamine or act as liberators, causing your body to release its own histamine. The big four to avoid are spinach, tomatoes, in all forms including sauce, fresh or paste eggplant, and avocado. For fruits, you want to avoid citrus fruits, strawberries, and bananas. I know, a smoothie without banana or spinach sounds impossible, but stick with me. Finally, watch out for pantry staples. Chocolate and cocoa are liberators. Walnuts, cashews, and peanuts are usually triggers. And almost all vinegars, especially balsamic and wine vinegar, are high histamine. White distilled vinegar or apple cider vinegar are sometimes tolerated, but in the beginning, it is safer to skip them. Now for the good news. You're probably asking, well, then what can I eat? I've got you covered. The goal is to eat fresh, unprocessed, whole foods. For protein, rely on flash-frozen chicken, turkey, and white fish like cod or hake. Fresh lamb and beef are okay if they aren't aged. Eggs are controversial. The white is a histamine liberator for some, but many people tolerate cooked yolks or whole eggs just fine. For vegetables, you have plenty of options. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, broccoli, asparagus, zucchini, cauliflower, and leafy greens like bok choy or lettuce are generally safe. For fruit, reach for apples, pears, blueberries, mango, and melon. These are low histamine and great for snacking. For grains, stick to gluten-free options like rice, quinoa, and oats. While gluten isn't histamine itself, it can cause inflammation, which lowers your bucket's capacity. For fats, olive oil, butter, ghee, and coconut oil are excellent choices. And if you're asking, wait, then where's the flavor? The best low histamine way to augment flavor is by using fresh herbs like basil, parsley, cilantro, and spices like turmeric and ginger. Salt is safe. Just avoid the pre-mixed spice blends, as they often hide anti-caking agents or high histamine fillers like chili powder. You have the right food, but if you cook the right food using the wrong methods, you can set a histamine-loaded trap. Here are the essential cooking rules. Rule number 1, stop slow cooking. I know bone broth and slow-cooked stews are trendy for gut health, but long cooking times increase histamine levels dramatically. Instead, use an Instant Pot or pressure cooker. It breaks down the food quickly without giving histamine time to develop. Quick sautéing, boiling, or steaming are also great methods. Avoid frying or grilling until your bucket has lowered, as the charring can produce other amines. Rule number 2, the refrigerator trap. This is the most common mistake beginners make. Do not store leftovers in the refrigerator. Histamine continues to build up on cooked food even at fridge temperatures. If you meal prep, you must freeze your portions immediately after cooking. When you're ready to eat, thaw it quickly in the microwave or on the stove and eat it immediately. Do not let food sit out and never reheat food more than once. Finally, how do you actually start? Don't try to half-do this diet. To really know if histamine is your issue, you need to do a strict elimination phase for 4 to 6 weeks. If you cheat a few times a week, your bucket never empties, and you won't know if the diet works. Keep a detailed food and symptom diary. Write down exactly what you ate and how you felt 30 minutes to 24 hours later. This data is invaluable because everyone is different. SIG-I list is a guide, not a law. You might tolerate avocado but react to rice. The only way to know is to track it. Starting a low histamine diet feels restrictive at first, but remember, it is not forever. It is a tool to calm your immune system and identify your triggers so you can eventually expand your diet again. If you found this guide helpful, please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video and want notifications, please hit the subscribe button and that little bell. I truly appreciate the support. It keeps the channel going and allows us to empower even more people with the knowledge to improve their histamine intolerance. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.